Hey subbies and friends, this is Lady T, and how are you doing today? Today is just one of those days. It's gloomy where I am, and I'm out trying to get some air. You know how you didn't want to leave your house, but you knew you had to because you have errands to run. But I end up going to a spot by the water just to kind of clear my head, as well as probably take a nap because I just wanted to get out the house. But it's one of those days I just almost feel like, why not just stay in the house? But sometimes it's just nice to get out and get air. But I really did not want to walk because I walked yesterday and I'm a little tired. And I was like, I just want to get out for air and maybe go do some of my errands in my car, like pay some bills online, maybe make a phone call. I dread calling customer service people. But when I'm outside taking a walk or I don't know, in a different area, I can tolerate them more. I actually had a situation yesterday where I had to call about something with my credit card. And I don't know about you guys, but it seemed like there's a lot of fraud going on. So somehow someone got access to my credit card and I had to call and they needed to talk to me. They shut my online account down and they wanted me to call. So I called. I talked to the first guy. He had an Indian accent, but he was very nice. So I was very patient with him. But for some reason, after he took a payment from me, and my payment just happened to be due that day, so I wanted to make a payment before they closed the card and sent me a new one. He did that for me, closed the card, took my payment, told me my online access wouldn't be available until about 48 hours. And then I get a woman who he tells me, oh, well, to get your new card, I have to transfer you to someone else. So I was already a little taken aback by that because I'm like, why do you need to transfer me to someone just to order a card? But okay, I'm in a good mood. It's early, so I let him do it. I get another one. I get a woman. She's Indian, I guess, or she has an accent. First thing she does is she starts verifying me. And that's annoying. That's one of my pet peeves is that when you call the customer service, you just verify with the first person. Now you got to go verify with the next person. Now I'm thinking she's going to ask me my address. It's something like my card number. She starts asking me like, what's your balance on your credit card? And when was the last payment amount that you made? And I said, ma'am, I have no access to the online account. I'm calling about a fraud situation. So why are you asking me about my total balance on the credit card and the last payment? Because really I didn't know for sure. I knew my balance, but I didn't know the exact amount I made for the last month. And right from there, we got set off on the wrong foot because I will admit I don't have the most patience with customer service people. Even though I've worked customer service, I worked in health insurance, having to help people with their benefits. So I understand how to talk to people. I understand how to be patient. But often you don't get a very good representative. And I was very good at my job and what I did. So when I don't see them, we call it warm transferring, meaning you connect the person by introducing them to the next representative. You don't just drop them off to a new person and now they have to go all through the process again. So I was already taken aback. And I think maybe because I know customer service, I get more sensitive to some of the tactics that they do that just trigger you to get irritated and to waste your time. So basically, she asked me about 3-4 verification questions, and she asked me the card number. She asked me, and I'm like, how many more questions are you going to ask me? Like, you asked me 4 to 5 verification questions. Usually it's only 3. And she's like, well, not in these cases with fraud. So after I mentioned, clearly I don't have access to my online account. I don't see like the balance on there, my last payment. Can you ask me like my address or something that's personal that I can, like the last guy asked me? But basically the phone call went left, okay? And I actually had to call. I literally had to ask to speak to a manager because once I get irritated, I kind of want to complain to someone. And it wasn't just about her. It was also about their process for how they handle their customers. Where I had to speak to 2 representatives just to complete a card order. Like, why wouldn't the guy be able to order my card? And I had to wait on hold for a new representative, then wait on hold for a manager, and then she comes back on the phone and didn't even give me a manager. So that's another thing I can't stand when I call these places, and I can't even talk to a manager, or they'll keep you on hold forever. Because sometimes you feel like you're talking to a person that doesn't know what they're doing, and then sometimes you get a person who wants to be funny or obnoxious. And when I told her my situation about feeling a little bit perturbed, that you keep on asking me verification questions, and I just told you, I just got transferred from someone. And she just continued on with what she had to do. And all she had to do was say, "Oh, I apologize. This is what they want us to ask this many questions, blah blah blah." But instead, she starts justifying and still asking me questions. And it got to the point I stopped responding to her. And basically was like, let's just move forward so I can get my card and get off the phone. And I, wanted to wait for the survey to come up at the end. It's just one of those things. I don't know what it is about phone calls. That's why I'm telling you, if you ever have an issue with your credit card and you don't like talking to people on the phone like me, you can email them. Anytime I have a question about a payment or anything, I email them. But for some reason with this credit card, they end up closing my whole online account just so that they put it on hold, but I couldn't see anything about the account because they wanted me to call to just get some information from me, which they already had the information because they sent me a text saying we blocked this payment because it looks like fraud. And they were right. And they said, if this is not you, send yes. If it is you, send no. I said no. So they still wanted me to call. And I understand. I was fine with that. But I just didn't like that I had to talk to two people for something as simple. And, for something as simple as ordering a car. And, it's always those people who have the simplest job. And I'm not trying to be mean or ignorant, but it's like, you had one job, lady. Send me a card. And you messed that up. You made the situation turn into way more than it needed to be because you didn't know how to have soft skills. Just apologize. If you have to ask 6 verification questions or whatever, and you really have to, and I've worked customer service and I've never had to ask more than 3 verification questions, you need to apologize because that's a big burden on most people. Are going to get aggravated after a while. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to check in on this gloomy day and say hi. I'm in my car, and I hope you guys are having a great day. And if you have a customer service representative that's rude or you hate making customer service calls, try emailing. Emailing them is just as efficient as making a phone call if you can. But anyways, if you like it. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you real soon. Bye-bye.
So, it was a little bit of a rough day, and excuse me if I was venting a little bit, but the whole point of the video was it was one of those days that I had an opportunity to get out of the house, and I knew I needed to run errands. And I typically go to the park for a little walk, but today I really didn't feel like walking. I just wanted to be. And this is a place in my city where you go typically in the summertime. In the summertime, you will see a lot of people running around here just enjoying the sun, enjoying the water, sitting out on the grass. It's a very nice, low-key, hippie type of vibe. As you can see today, though, it's very gloomy, and I just didn't know. Something just led me there. You see the little lighthouse in the peripheral, you know. But anyways, something led me there because I had some responsibilities I had to do. One thing, as I stated in the video, I hate making customer service calls. But one of the things I learned about myself is I can handle almost any challenge if I'm out in nature, because I don't know what it is. As you can see in that previous clip, I was a little drained. I was talking a lot, but I was drained. And sometimes when I come out in nature, I just get my energy back. It helps me recharge. I can make those difficult phone calls. I can sit on hold and not feel like I'm want to hang up. I have more patience. And you have to find those places and spaces where you can breathe, because sometimes, let's face it, indoors you can't breathe, whether you're indoors at home, indoors at work, indoors at a shopping mall. And now that we're wearing masks, I don't really even like going to shopping malls, because I can only go to a store and be in an environment that's enclosed with a mask on for so long. So I came out here, and I was actually very happy that I did come out here. I'm on my way home right now, heading back home. I live probably about 15 minutes from this area, and I don't come down here often, but lately I've been coming down here more when the weather's not that great. And one of the reasons is because I don't need to wait for the weather to be great for me to get outdoors. And I like that it tends to be less people outside, and I kind of can just feel my own energy. I'm downtown, headed back home. It's very industrialized down here. When it rains, it looks even worse. But I don't know about you, but sometimes that gloomy weather, it just puts you in that space of reflection. Our downtown is a little bit cumbersome. There's one-way streets everywhere. Like if I wanted to go to that Tim Hortons right there, I would have to park quite far or pay for parking just to go to that Tim Hortons. So that's one of the things I don't really like about our downtown. It's a lot of one-way streets. It's very industrialized. You got a train system right in front of that Tim Hortons. There's a train track. So it's just, not the most easiest place to maneuver if you wanted to just walk around. But I love coming downtown to go by the water, you know. And as I was driving back home, sometimes when I'm driving home and just looking at the different sceneries, especially in places I haven't gone, for a while, like I haven't been down here for probably a few months, it just makes me feel good. It takes me outside of my everyday routine. You see people walking, you just get that feeling of just forgetting about your problems somehow. I love nature, like trees and water, but I also like to look at like buildings and you know wondering where people are going. Sometimes if it's an early day, a weekday, and you're wondering like, what do these people do that they're not at work, or what's going on? I'm just very inquisitive. But as you can see, it's very gloomy. The sky is gray, and we've been having a lot of that weather. Where it's just so gray, you don't even know where the sun is. And I'm a sun person. I love the sun. I'm like a plant. I like the sun. So when I wake up and there's no sunshine in my window, or it's just gloomy, it's a little depressing to me. But if I go outside, it's still depressing, but I don't know, it just gives me some energy. And I literally came out this day just to go drive down to that, we call it our canal side, just to sit by the water. And surprisingly, there were other people there. It's funny because there's always other people there. And, you know, I'm not crazy because sometimes I feel like, man, I'm always just doing stuff that most people wouldn't do. I'm always in the wrong season and with the right reason, going to places when most people wouldn't even think to go here in the fall or winter, but that's why I like to do it, you know. So now I'm headed back home. As you can see, it's a little gloomy. Not only is it gloomy for the weather, but the downtown is not the most nicest area. Like I said, you got apartment buildings there. Some of these houses are abandoned. Some are nice. This city is one of those places where you can have a ghetto or a hood within 10 to 15 minutes of a nice neighborhood. And my neighborhood's kind of like that because I like the city. I've lived in the suburbs, but I love the city. And this is one of my favorite parts of the city. We have this mural that they just recently put up that's dedicated to African American leaders. As you can see, Malcolm X is just staring right there at you, one of my favorite activists. Malcolm X, you got a couple more on here like Rosa Parks, Angela Davis. Some of these people, I'll be honest, I don't recognize, but there's Rosa Parks. And I love when I'm driving closer to my home, you start to see more murals because they're starting to put like paintings on buildings. I don't know if you've ever been to like Philly or Miami where you see a lot of the murals on the buildings. I love that. So they're starting to try to do a lot of that here in Buffalo, and I appreciate that because I'm an artistic kind of gal. But I hope you've enjoyed watching this scenery. If you're like me, kind of nosy, you like to see what's going on. And I personally like videos with scenery. Go ahead and let me know how you like the video. Don't forget to like, and thank you so much for tuning in. You have a great day. Bye-bye.